All right. Good evening. So how you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Um, we were just getting started. Oh man, hope you guys are doing well tonight. It's been one heck of a week. I've been sick. I am doing my best to pretty much, be here tonight. But tonight, just because I got sick doesn't mean that we can't make it happen tonight. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ismail. I am the owner of Notary Services. I started my notary journey back in 2017. It's been one heck of a ride. It's been amazing. A lot of failures, a lot of success. But now I'm to the point where I'm looking for ways to network with other notaries within the industry. So now let me see. If you guys able to hear me on Instagram, just put a one in the comment. So that way I know Instagram is working. Same thing for YouTube. If you're able to hear me, that way I know we are good to go. Where we at? Where we at? And where are you guys tuning in from tonight? Where are you guys tuning in from tonight? I'd like to find out where you guys are from, what state you represent. Miss Shannon says she can hear us on YouTube. We are good. Mr. Dolores still say we are good. Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. So what about IG? Everybody's fine. Yep, everybody can hear us. All right, perfect, perfect. So where are you guys from tonight? Where are you guys from tonight? I'm getting Texas on YouTube. I'm getting Indiana on YouTube. Rochester, New York. Look, I apologize if I pronounce it wrong. I know. We have Jersey in the house on Instagram. We have Nevada on Instagram.
We have Arkansas.
Arkansas. Oh man, we have folks all over the place tonight. You guys are amazing for tuning in. I really appreciate that. But as always, tonight's not about me. It's not about me. I am just here to bring you guys an exclusive interview with another notary that's in the business that's doing great things. And I just wanted to get an opportunity to network, and that's one thing that I've grown and love about networking within this industry because everyone, even though we are notary public, everybody's doing something different. Everybody's doing something that's specific to their market, and that's what makes this so unique because we are able to branch off into different aspects within this business. So tonight, guest from Maryland, right?
Yes, Maryland.
Exactly. Maryland's back in the house. We had a previous guest from Maryland. They brought the fire. I can only imagine what's coming. So I'm gonna give you the floor now, if you don't mind introducing yourself to everyone.
Absolutely. So, hello, everybody. I have new headphones on, so bear with me. I can hear a slight echo in my ears. But my name is Corinne Jones, and I am a commissioned notary in the state of Maryland. I am the owner of Freedom Notary Services. It is a notary business that provides loan services and general notary work for my local community. And I also offer coaching services to my fellow notary businesses as well as entrepreneurs throughout. And so my current focus is helping notaries transfer their knowledge into digital products.
Oh, nice, nice. Transfer the product transfer the knowledge to digital product, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
that
I
sound
think
that
every business should have, every person should have that as a easy stream of income.
I feel like that's something I'm interested in. That's something I've been,
Well,
I'm
we gotta talk,
right
Ismail.
there. I am right
Yeah.
there. Like I have everything in here, but a lot of people have been telling me, hey, put them in books. If you want to just do an ebook, just put them in the next phase. But we definitely going to have to talk. So how about you tell us a quick background about like who you are, just a background, if you want to go into childhood or if you just want to start, when you start this business, like who are you beside Freedom Notary, like this amazing
Okay.
person we see on Instagram, but and tell us
Right.
something about you.
Okay, so if I go back to childhood, this would be much longer than planned. So we'll start right before I started my business. I'll go a little further back. So first of all, I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur until recently. My goal in life was to be a psychologist when I was a little girl, and so I just always cared about what people thought, how their brains ticked, and why they did the things that they did. And so I decided when I went to college, I would major in psychology. And my school counselor in high school asked me, well, what do you want to do after college? And I said, I want to travel the world and be rich. And she said, well, don't major in psychology, just major in international business and finance. So I was like,
Mm.
okay. So I switched completely and went to business school at Howard University. Can you hear me okay, Ismail?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So I majored in business and got a job on Wall Street as soon as I finished school. And I discovered that I absolutely hated it. But my goal was to be successful and to be gainfully employed. And so I rolled that out for a few years. And then I kind of job hopped in different industries so that I could figure out what I actually wanted to do. But ultimately, what I like to do um, is coach people, help people. I couldn't put a name to it because I wasn't a psychologist, but I knew that I like to relate to people and help them discover their own inner talents and gifts. I just did it naturally. And
Mm,
so, my last job, I had a six-figure position in a government agency. And at the height of COVID, it became incredibly stressful because the nature of my role was impacted. And
okay.
so I became so stressed having children and them not being in school due to everything being shut down. I decided to leave my job and take a break and then find a different job. And obviously, everybody was unemployed. It was job freezes and it wasn't so easy.
Yep.
And so my son suggested, Mommy, why don't you get a side hustle? It's all kinds of like opportunities. And he's sending me YouTube videos. And
Nice.
because he was sending me those videos, there were suggestions on YouTube. And of course, you see all the commercials about becoming a loan signing agent. And it was so gimmicky, but it sounded interesting enough. So I started to explore it. And the more that I looked into it, I realized, oh, it's really something to this because I didn't know much about. I heard of a notary, and I know every
Yeah.
once in a while one would need one, but I didn't know that there was something called a loan signing agent. So the more
Yeah.
I explored it, the more I realized, oh, it's really an opportunity to create a lucrative side hustle. And so I became a commissioned notary, and then I got training to be a loan signing agent, and then I was ready to get started, and I discovered, oh, I have to be get licensed as a title insurance producer in Maryland. So
Hmm.
I came to a screeching halt. I had to take a few weeks to study for that. And then I passed the state exam and I became a licensed typic. And then I went out and started applying to signing services and marketing to title companies. And
Nice.
once I did a few signings, I realized, you know what, I'm going to start my business. And I didn't know that it was like hundreds of notaries across the nation doing the same thing. I just had my own unique story and it was difficult to find another job. And so I think that it was a divine intervention for all of that to happen the way that it did,
Hmm.
because I got freedom in a way that I didn't even expect. My goal was just to get freedom from a stressful job and find another job. But
Yeah.
what it did was it just stretched me in ways I just didn't expect. And so I started Freedom Notary Services, and that was at the height of, I guess, the huge refi push. And so it was so
Yeah.
many refis. And
Oh
so I
yeah.
was busy full time.
He's making that money.
And yeah, and I remember I had my first signing and I was terrified. I was trained and I did mock signings and I was ready to go. And then it was time to take my first signing. I was like, okay, I can't do it. I'm so scared.
Hmm.
But after a few, after about five, I could do it in my sleep. And so I realized it's like to make more money and to cut out the middleman, it was time to to work with title companies.
Yep.
And so I started to market to title companies. And so I landed a great relationship with a local title company. And I just walked in one day with my gift basket, introduced myself. And by the way, like I'm an introvert, so I hated doing any of that. But in order to gain business, I have to put myself out there. And so I met with a variety of title companies, and one particular title company called me back, and the owner was captivated by my presentation. And so I came in and I met with her. And so we chatted, and she was like, "Hey, you want to do my signings this evening for the rest of the evening?" And I was like, "No, I didn't think I was going to get, I didn't know." But I said yes. And so she threw me to the wolves. Luckily, I didn't exaggerate, my skills. I just told her that I
Yep.
did have experience. And my first signing was with a real estate agent and the client, and it was a buyer closing. And I hadn't done a
Nice.
buyer closing. I've only done refis.
Yeah.
And so I kind of freaked out, but first time for everything. And it was only up from there. And so I had so many signers that I became their dedicated notary, and I kind of worked full time with them. And
Hmm.
so it was a great experience because I was able to learn a lot with a title company, learn a lot of the insides of how things work because I was completely new to real estate and closings. And so I just had to hit the ground running.
No, no, that's amazing. I think one of the stuff that I see a couple comments on IG. They talk about Doctor Tech here say your son put you on.
He did. My son, and I hope he's watching, he's upstairs watching my daughter, but he is a little entrepreneur. I mean, not little anymore, he's 15. And so he's always thinking of the next opportunity. He has a lawn mowing business, he
That's
does video
amazing.
editing, he is dynamic. And so for me, I never had the desire to have my own business. I would support others to have theirs,
Yep.
but I guess I was programmed to have a job. And so now, it's very difficult to fathom the idea of just working a 9 to 5 when you have the potential in your own business to create and
Mm.
evolve. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Well, shout out to your son. Keep doing great things, young man. Like I love that entrepreneur spirit, the business mindset you have. Shout out to you. It's amazing. Like it's not often you hear somebody say, "Well, my son was the one who tell me, just look into this," and then here you are, just from his idea, his train of thought, you then turn into a full blown business. That is, that's amazing, and I really admire that, and I
Yeah.
really admire your son for doing that. So that's a great man.
Yeah, he's
I can only
definitely an
imagine.
inspiration. Like I had, when he said, just get a side hustle in the meantime, I was like, a side hustle? I'm above that. I need a job. Then I realized no one's calling me back. Maybe I should look into it. And so he was
Yeah,
like, get on Fiverr. You could be a copy editor because, I enjoy writing. I've done tons of writing on every job I've done. There's so much that you can do with your talents. You
yeah,
just need to know how to leverage it and match that skill to a need. And so I just didn't have that mindset. And it is definitely a challenge coming from, a 9 to 5 mindset, building another company on behalf, another company versus your own. So
mhm,
it definitely was a challenge. And I think in some ways I'm still detoxing from that. And so, but he's definitely an inspiration because he was like, this doesn't have to be stressful. Just
yep,
create your own. And
exactly.
and I was just like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. He's a kid. And then I saw the loan signing videos and I'm like, that sounds so gimmicky. And then I started to look into it and it started making money. I was like, oh, it's really easy.
Yeah,
It was an entire community of notaries.
make ten
And
thousand
so, yeah,
dollars.
it has changed my life.
Yeah, I know. I think we all done seen those. Make $10,000 a month. $20,000 a month as a loan signing agent. No, it's amazing. It's amazing how you was able to transition from that, and I love the idea that you have a great support system between you and your kids. That is phenomenal. So just based on when you were shifting from the W-2, what would you say? Like, how important was having the right mindset? How important that was for you to make that transition, even though no, you was willing to go back to another W-2, because that's what you were used to. That's
That's
been
all I knew.
that's all you did. But now you had to shift completely on how you're looking at things, business aspect. So how important was your mind? How important is mindset to those that are looking to get into something else, but they are not 100% sure? Would you mind telling them like how that helped you along the way?
Yeah, I think I went through a lot of peaks and valleys as I transitioned. I didn't know, like, okay, all I need to do is just believe in myself, because that's really where it starts, just believing that you can. And I think each phase of me transitioning, I was just living in the moment. I was just saying, okay, well, I could become a notary. Oh,
Yeah,
wow, I could become, I could use it as I could create a business. Oh, wow, I can build it. I can add other services. But along the way, it was very scary because each step was unknown. There was nothing that I was used to, and I'm so used to using my skills for my resume, and then
yeah,
gradually promoting in a job or something like that. So I think before you do anything, you must first believe that you're capable of it. And once you believe that, then opportunities present themselves because you notice them. You're
hmm,
not just in the clouds about things. And I think once I realized that I could really build my business on my own, then things started to happen. Otherwise, I'm just waiting for closings to pop up on my phone, because I did that. I think like a lot of notaries did. As
yeah.
soon as
A
you get
lot
an
of us
alert,
do.
you dial for your phone. But I realized I wasn't building a business like that. What I
Mm,
was doing is just, taking alerts whenever they came and then do a closing. And so what shifted for me is that I can create whatever I wanted if I believed that I could. And so
okay.
that's when I took the leap and started to market to title companies and just decided to be myself, because I
Mm,
have the freedom to do that.
yep.
And that's kind of the notion as to why I named my business the way I did. There are no limits to what I can do. And so when I started to market to title companies, and I just brought Corinne,
Yeah.
and I told them, here are my skills, here are my abilities, here's the my record of work that I've done. And so even now, so I've been in this business since 2020, and now we're approaching the middle of 2022.
Yep.
I'm still like faced with new challenges, but it all starts with believing that it's possible. Because as soon as you have doubt, then you start to limit what you can do, and
Mm,
then you produce only what you believe you're capable of.
you're right. You are absolutely right. So mindset is extremely important for those of you who are watching. It doesn't, and whether it's business, whether it's personal life, having the right mindset, it's extremely important. It may not be a lot of people just need to understand that it's not easy. Everybody talk about preparing yourself to have minds, have the right mindset. We all understand that there's going to be trials and errors, so you have to be willing to accept that. You might wake up today, you're in a positive mood, everything's going great, and then the next day everything is not going as you planned. But you just have to understand you have to go through with those trials and errors, and then just learn from that and continue to build, because it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
And I think the more folks are trying to be this perfect model of whatever it is you have in your mind, you're just going to set yourself for failure. Failure is not the end. Learn from failures, and then come up with a new perspective on how you're going to approach the same situation next time it happens. So I like the fact that you were able to identify, making the shift from a W-2 into a business owner. Another thing that you point out was, as far as signing services. Everybody
Hmm.
done signing services. It's a great opportunity to earn income. But what you point out and said, you was receiving them. So technically you was not building a business. So it was
Right.
starting to be more like a high paying job, except we are depending on the signing services to reach out to us.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that built a business around that. If that's what works for you in your market, we are not going to tell you not to do it. But you have to understand that once those signing alert stop coming to your phone, that's going to affect your business. And just be ready and make the change. Be ready to educate yourself in the next subject which you might want to learn and you might want to acquire and you might want to service people in your community. I do apologize if I sound crazy. I've been sick, so
You
so
sound
we
great.
are so we are doing what we're doing. So you mentioned that in Maryland there's a certain process you have to go through, right? You mind explaining
Hmm.
that? Because I know one of our last guests was from Maryland. She mentioned it as well. But can you
Right.
explain that process to us?
Yeah, so in the state of Maryland, in order to do loan signings, you have to first become a commissioned notary and then become a licensed title insurance producer, independent contractor. So it's referred to as a TIPIC. And I
Hmm.
think in most other, maybe it's only two or three other states, but Maryland is one of them. And I did not know. And so I was ready to get started. And then I realized I had to study for an exam, and for me, it wasn't easy. And I think it was because, for one, I hadn't studied for an exam in many, many years, and it covered content that I didn't understand. So I had to kind of reteach, well, not reteach, but teach myself everything in order for it to make sense so that any
Yeah.
questions that came up on the exam, I could kind of use my judgment to answer them. So I was really nervous, but I studied, endlessly, and then I passed it. So I think it's a two-part test. It's a state, and then it's the general. And I think it's a total, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 100 questions. I can't
Okay.
remember. I just tried to block that out. I'm glad I became licensed. So
Oh
yeah, so
man.
I studied and then I passed. I was so nervous. But once I became licensed, I was ready. I felt like I earned my business. I worked
Yeah.
for it because I thought it was just so simple just to become a notary, but it was much more to it. But looking back, I'm super grateful that I had to become a licensed typic because I was able to learn so much about title insurance. I would have never
Yeah.
known otherwise. I would have to learn through osmosis doing closings. But now
Yeah.
I had a deeper understanding of it, especially working in a title company and having to explain more on a detailed level to clients.
Yep. That is true. It's like it's funny, how our past experience still plays a role in us being business owners, and a lot of people
Mhm.
feel like they need to be I don't know, have like masters, graduates, like just I know the whole thing with the W-2 is you can go to school for like 5 years, you get your bachelor's, you get your master's, you come out and they say, oh, you have no experience.
Mhm.
Just working a W-2, then you transition that to you having your own business. All the experiences that you had going to play a major role on how you conduct businesses and how you market yourself. So
Right.
you mentioned that you market yourself to title companies. What are some ways do you market besides just going inside the office? Like, do you do postcards? Do you attend events? Do you do you cold call like real estate agent? Like, what are some ways do you market in your area?
So for loan signings, I just strictly went in the office. I don't think that emails and calling was effective at all because they get so many people reaching out to them. And so to connect a face with a name and able to have a conversation with the settlement officers made a difference. Bringing in a gift was helpful. I don't think title companies care about your gift so much because once I started working in one, they had tons of candy and tons of snacks that they gave borrowers when they were there. But I think it helped ease my nerves coming in there, instead of just coming in trying to have a conversation, hoping that they'll, work with me. I brought a gift. And so I did that personally so that it would kind of ease the conversation, like I had something to offer them. But just a one on one connection and having that conversation and then doing a follow up served to be effective for me. Other than that, I marketed my business for more so general notary work in my community. So whenever there was an opportunity to give my cards out at local UPS or FedEx or wherever, I was always giving my card out. And I've even reached out to the local library so that I could do a pop up there and
Yeah.
offer notary services there. I think with general notary work, you have so much more flexibility and creativity to work with to offer your services. So yeah, I didn't spend a lot of money and time advertising the loan signing service arm of my business.
Okay.
And
Wow.
partially because I became a dedicated notary so quickly with the title company, I guess I got spoiled. I'm like there, but what I learned from that experience is that you should always have a variety of opportunities. It
Yes.
should always be building, and I think that was one of the things that became a challenge for me because I did not. I'm sorry, my cat keeps jumping on the table. Okay. I'm trying to shoo him out the way, but he doesn't care.
Nah.
So I just, what was I saying? Oh, because I was working closely with one title company, um, I became spoiled and I just worked directly with them. And then
Yep.
at the top of 2022, when loan signings kind of slowed down, when interest rates went up and gas prices increased, all those things started to happen. I got less signings through signing services and through the title company that I was working with. That's when it hit me that I should always be growing my business, always be promoting it. And I think that leans itself to the fact that I still had more of a 9 to 5 mindset. Once I
Yeah.
landed that title company and I was busy with them, I was good. I didn't have to grow, I didn't have to expand. So that was definitely a learning lesson. And so now I'm building and I'm watching other notaries and they're very inspiring
Yeah.
too. You have an opportunity to market and talk about your business and what you have to offer at all times. And so now I breathe Freedom Notary. And I know the other day, well, not the other day, a couple, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I was at a UPS and I was just dropping off my Amazon package. I was making a return, and
Yeah.
someone in line ahead of me said that they were looking for a notary, and the person there said that the notary was sick. And I'm like, bingo. So I told the person, I can help them. But then I came back into the UPS and I gave them my card and I told them that
Yeah.
I'm a mobile notary. And so I've become their dedicated notary.
Nice.
So whenever they
Nice.
don't have a notary, they give my cards out. And I asked them,
Nice.
do they have other mobile notaries that they work with? And they were like, nope, we just call you or we just give your cards out. And so now when I have general notary work, I know it's coming from that UPS. But I
That's
don't
amazing.
stop there because obviously if that flow of opportunity ends, then what do I have? So I think that's
Yeah.
one of my biggest lessons with my business, especially when it comes to marketing.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that because during the pandemic, what happened, there was this one title company which I was getting a lot of service from, and I've experienced it firsthand. And then somehow, maybe late in the year, I stopped hearing from them. So
Mm-hmm.
mind you, this title company was pretty much calling me. I was doing maybe 6 to 8 closing for them, throughout the week or more sometime. And then when they stopped calling, I had to kind of like shift back to my original ways of marketing, which when I started this business, it was all general notary work. So during the pandemic, I kind of allowed myself to go a little crazy with the signing, because that was good. It was bringing in
Right.
income. That was good. And then when the site, when that title company kind of like stopped calling, I'm like, you know what? Let me get back to what I was doing prior to. This was good. So this can be like a secondary option. But the general notary work, a lot of people just don't understand that you can sometimes you make more money doing that than a loan signing. And most of the
Right.
time, you don't have to worry about printing documents. You don't have to worry about doing scan it back. You don't have to worry about sending anything to UPS or FedEx. So it's extremely amazing the opportunity that's out there with general notary work. And it kind of bothers me when I hear people say, "Oh, I don't feel like doing general notary work. There's no money in that side of it." That's because you haven't taken the time to explore all the possibilities that you have.
And I
And
think, and it's so easy, it's convenient, and you are fulfilling a direct need within your community. So for me, I love the fact that I can do it in 5 minutes, and I typically help customers that are very, very close to where I live. So I'm out the door, I throw on my branded shirt, I complete a notarization in 5 minutes, and I'm back in the house. And like, it's just that simple. And then you get return customers constantly, and then they refer you.
Yes.
So for me, it's very satisfying, and it adds up
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah.
The repeat customers will make your business. I had the other day I had an appointment. A lady who had reached out to me on Thumbtack back in January. She called me directly the other day, wanted some documents notarized, and then as I scheduled with her, just sent me like as far as like her payment, and then she was like, "Hey, I told my friend about you. They want some documents notarized as well. Can you go to their house after you meet with me and my husband?" I'm like, "Sure." Like, how far is it? About 5 minutes away. So from that one appointment, right? So on average, I'm not like, do not take these numbers. On average, most notaries aim to make at least maybe 150 on the loan signing. Just having that general notary appointment, I was able to make a lot more than that. So for those of you who do
Hold
not
on
want
one
to,
second, Maya.
yeah,
My
go
4 year old. Come here. Let me show you my why. Come here, Journey.
ahead.
Come here.
Let's get him on here.
So we got a special guest.
There he is. Hey, oh, don't
So
be
I
shy
specifically
now.
told my son to keep her
Don't
upstairs, and so
don't be
she's
shy
been
now. Don't be
behind the
shy
scenes
now.
playing a tablet, interrupting my interview. So there
Hey,
you have it.
hey,
So
welcome. Don't be
you
shy
have to
now.
manage family, a fluctuating schedule, and keep the same mindset to stay in the game.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
not easy, but I
No,
still wouldn't have it any other way.
not at all. Not at all. So Tech is asking, say, when you Tech say, when you bring gifts to title company, how long do you stay and talk with them? That's a question from Tech.
Well, do you want the inside in my brain, Corinne, or what's appropriate? So inside my brain, I want to drop the basket off and run. But the goal is to build a relationship. So I bring the basket in. I wait to speak to someone, and surprisingly, even though the gatekeeper at the front desk is supposed to take the basket, take your business cards, give you some generic cards, and send you
Yeah.
on your way, I've been lucky enough for them to bring the person out, and I get to meet with them. And so I probably I probably covered maybe 25 to 30 title companies. And I say, well, most of the time when I go in, I'll just say, hi, my name is Corinne. I'll give them the whole spiel. I try not to make it sound like the generic script that everyone's been circulating,
Yeah.
but I'll just introduce myself and let them know, how I can add value, what I've done, what my accomplishments are. And I created a notary resume, and then I'll provide them with some of my documents, like my license typic document and my notary commission. And so a couple times they've accepted it and made copies of it, and then I don't hear from them. And other times I've gotten a couple signings here and there. But I'll try to just build a relationship because I don't think they care about the gift basket. It's just a
No,
nice gesture.
of
But what I'll
course.
do is bring it, and they have it. Um, and that's pretty much it.
No, no, makes sense. No, that makes sense. So as your little one got, all of a sudden he didn't have. Is that a girl or a boy? I don't want to.
That's a girl. That's Journey.
Okay,
She's 4.
okay. So
Hmm.
all right.
Yep,
So
and my 15-year-old son is upstairs where he's supposed to be watching her. So he,
so
at
she
some
had
point, is
nothing
going to
to
look
say,
for her
huh?
and realize that he's failed on his assignment.
She had nothing to say. Or so that's how my daughter is too. Like they'll be around. I'm like, "All right, come to the camera." It's like I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I had to
So
drag her into the camera.
so so I think that right there is perfect. So how do you balance between business and family, especially having younger children? That can be extremely tough because we have a 4-year-old, and our son will be 11 in a couple months. So that can be extremely difficult at times. So how do you find that balance to, go out, put in the work in your business, then still spend time with family, making sure that you guys are planning, night out or stay in nights. Like, so how do you balance that?
Well, I don't think that there really is true balance because we're not living in a perfect world. and things always pop up. Ideally, I would like my schedule to always be the same, and the kids always be in perfect health, and money just pouring in, falling off
Yeah.
trees. It just doesn't work that way. But what I do know is, I order a priority in my life, and my number one priority is taking care of myself so that I can be a good mother. And
Hmm.
then if I can do those two things, then I can do all the rest, which is providing and running a household and, making decisions on the fly and making tough decisions. So I think the priority is taking care of myself. And I think oftentimes we neglect ourselves for the greater
Yeah,
good and we think that's
that's true.
creating balance. But until we get
Right.
sick or stressed or overwhelmed, that's when we realize. But I wasn't always this way. It was very difficult having a very stressful job, and that came first. It's different. And so being extremely stressed, sometimes having a laptop in my bed with me because I have to get right up in the morning, it was a
See,
lot. And so my kids were here and they were cared for, but they want you to be present. That's why my daughter is in the same room with me right now, because she just wants mommy to be present. She doesn't
yeah.
care about, what she understands is that when I leave to go to signing, she just knows mommy's going to get money. That's what she thinks. So I've been trying to kind of educate her, like, mommy has a business and I have an appointment, but she doesn't care about that. She just wants my time. And so it's
Gotcha.
more than just, feeding and bathing your children. It's about being present and teaching them. And so as I'm learning and evolving as a person, and this is really stretching me, there are times when, I do feel discouraged and feel weak and stuff. And so I try to be transparent with my children so that they can learn. But it's also an inspiration as well. When I do have challenging times, I talk to them about it so that they know that mommy's not superwoman. I'm not
Yeah,
perfect and I have difficulties too, but I try to use these opportunities to show them, that I can overcome as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. And the fact that you said that, you take care of yourself first, because, if you're not in a good state of health, mentally, physically, you cannot provide for them. And, that is something that, I know I've been in a situation where I kind of lack off that, and my wife would get on me and was like, hey, you know what, you need to take a break, or you need to do this. Because she knows, once I start going, I'm just all over the place, and then you get tired. You get tired quicker than you're not as patient as you can be with family, because you're allowing yourself to overwork. So taking care of yourself first is an absolute must. Sometimes I lack in it, so no one's perfect.
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm not perfect either. I strive to take good care of myself. Like, one thing I really try to do is get enough rest every night. I'm the type of person that if I don't get enough rest, then I feel sick the next day. I'm not in the best mood. I'm not creative. I'm not motivated. And so I try to make that a priority, getting enough rest. And then now I'm starting to exercise. Like, it's a process. And then there are
Yeah,
seasons in our life where we just don't have that same type of time to invest in ourselves and have enough rest. So I think that it comes in waves and seasons. And as long as you're patient with yourself and able to kind of bounce back, then you're okay. There's
yeah,
no perfect way. I used to try to make everything perfect, but that's the quickest way to get to burnout.
yeah. It is. It is. Mr. Lawrence on YouTube is saying in Indiana we have a title producer license to do. Okay, so that's pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing that you guys do over there
Yeah.
in Maryland.
Yeah.
So,
It was a total setup for me. I had no idea. I had my supplies, I had my stamp, and I'm like, title insurance, what is that?
oh man, that's
So
how they got.
yeah.
That's how they got
Yep,
you.
they got me.
So I did some searching through your website, just looking at the different type of services that you offer. I
Mhm.
see one of them is the estate planning.
Mhm.
A lot of people, they feel like, that right there would just scare them off. Like, I've had notaries say, "Hey, I had to call somebody, said something about estate planning. I don't know what I'm doing. That sounds like something an attorney should be doing." So, well, because I specifically choose that one because sometimes I get a lot of messages regarding that. Can you explain to somebody what is an estate planning? What's some of the documents they might see within that?
So funny enough, I haven't even done an estate planning signing yet. Shout out to Rafaniel. He gave a training on it. And he went through the typical documents like power of attorney, medical power of attorney, and he walked through those and he explained it so well. It's not complex at all. You do not have to be a lawyer. The documents are already drafted up. and you just go to the signer to have them execute it.
Mhm.
It's pretty straightforward. It's quick. I just haven't had any signings yet, but I have a notary colleague in DC who she and I are good friends, and she freaked out because an attorney reached out to her to do an estate planning. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I can break it down to you. So I was able to help her with it, and so it's easier, way easier than a loan signing. You know, you don't have to do a lot of explaining. There are a few documents that you do read, but it's short and sweet.
Yeah, and also for those of you, uh, beside marketing to estate attorneys, what you can do is market to hospitals and nursing home because most of your estate planning documents are going to come from hospitals and nursing home. A lot of people do not want to go into the nursing home or the rehab facilities. That's fine, but I guarantee you, once you start marketing yourself to them, just stop by, leave your card at the receptionist, and they will call you. Like I did an appointment the other day at a hospital. The patient called me. She was like, one of the nurses gave me your card because your card was here from the last time you was there. So I always tell people, make sure you are marketing yourself to nursing home, correctional facilities. Find out the requirement, the visiting hours, what's required of you, especially going into a nursing home. The visiting hours might be slightly different than a regular hospital. And if you're going to a jail, you might want to call ahead of time to make sure that that signing can still take place because because
Hmm.
I used to work I used to work in a prison the past 4.5 years, so I know you might think you're going in there for a regular signing and it just everything goes left. So
Mm.
and I have Miss Tiffany on YouTube saying you guys should be marketing to funeral services.
Oh, that's a good one.
So funeral services, we already know. I, I respect Carl, but it's going to happen. So they need notaries to go out there and get certain documents notarized at the funeral home. And
And another opportunity that comes to mind is working with process servers. I know with process servers, that's a service that we can add to our notary business.
yep,
But actually, a process server reached out to me through my Google page, and he wanted a dedicated notary for him because they have tons of affidavits that they need to
yeah,
have notarized. And so I work with him on a routine basis, and he may have sometimes 30 at a time. And
wow,
so it's an untapped market. I didn't know, I just knew that it's a service I could add, but I didn't think about the other side of it that process servers need notaries.
yeah, yeah. That's something that's something that's similar to what my wife been getting on me to add. So in the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to be adding new services. So we are
Yeah,
expanding our services.
yeah.
So, where do you see yourself in the next maybe 2 to 3 years? What are some of your short or long term goals for your business? Because just the way your business started, so and it's amazing. Just having your son give you the idea, you implementing that idea, and now you have a full blown business providing services to your community. That's amazing. So, what's next? Like, where do you see yourself and your company?
Yeah, so I didn't think that I would be interested in doing coaching to other notaries and small businesses until maybe the top of the year. So, because things are constantly changing and evolving as I build my business, I don't have a strong framework of what I look like in 3 years, but I can tell you what I love. What I absolutely love is coaching, and I love writing. Turn it down.
Amazing.
So, yeah, so I love writing and I love coaching. And so I know that those are two things that always come back to me. And on every job I've ever had, I'm either the ghost writer, the copy editor, I write standard operating procedures. It's just a strength that's natural for me. And so that's what led me to write my ebook. And I realized that, others can write as well. They can leverage their skills and their abilities and write ebooks and write e-courses and things like that. And so, because I like to help people, then I can leverage the skills and the passions that are natural for me. So, in a couple years from now, I think I would love to have a full time coaching business.
Nice.
And then, in order to expand that, I would love to scale it and do group coaching. And so
Nice.
it's hard to say. I think I'll be shocked in 3 years. I would love to watch this video to see where I am. And I'm like, Corinne, you had no idea, but look at you now.
No, that is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, the fact that you said that you're into writing now, I definitely need to talk to you. I need to talk to you because I have, I need to put things in books. Not just the notary industry because I'm also into real estate. I do like, I am doing wholesaling. If a lot of some people are familiar with wholesaling real estate, and we are going to transition to doing fix and flips. So there's a lot of things. I have a lot of knowledge and background in certain things. I definitely would like to put in books. So definitely would want to, get some time with you. Maybe we can talk on the phone more on,
Yeah,
how I can
absolutely.
bring these ideas to life because everybody is saying it's about that time. My wife's saying, "Hey, get something out there." I'm like, I have it in here.
And you know what? It's not complicated to transfer that knowledge. I think we overcomplicate it. I
Yeah,
think most of us do. And especially when people keep saying, where's the book or where's the guide, where's the course?
yeah,
And then we say it's coming, but we really can't figure out how we're going to actually execute that. And I mean, it comes down to deciding, what skill you find valuable, matching it with the need in the market. It has to be a
mhm,
problem out there. Otherwise, you're just showcasing something that you have and you like, but it may not be liked by others. So if you're
mhm,
matching that to a problem or a need in the marketplace, and then transferring that to a digital product. So you can write an ebook, and ebooks aren't long at all. It's not a novel. You're just giving people the shortcut to solving the problem, whatever it is they want to learn. The goal is to give someone the payoff, and that's what they want. They don't want the long way, they want the shortcut. That's why they're going to you for your product. Or
yeah,
you can take that same information and create an e-course, and there's so many ways to do that. So many times, like this video, like we were like teaching on a particular topic, you would save this video and then resell it. You would package it and repurpose it, and then that's yet another product to sell. And so, what you find yourself doing is building a digital catalog of products. And so many of us, small businesses, individuals, we have so much untapped potential and so many things to teach people, but we think that that's for someone else to do. And
mhm,
that's not true. I have a coach who taught me how to write ebooks. And she said, you can have a recipe on how to make, this is not exactly what she said, but essentially she was saying you can have a recipe of making chocolate chip cookies. If you Google chocolate chip cookie recipe, there are hundreds of recipes, and
yep,
hundreds of recipes have 5-star reviews. There's so many ways to transfer your unique knowledge and meet someone's need. And I think there's not a single person on this earth that doesn't have something that's valuable to someone else. It's just a matter
absolutely,
of finding that particular target audience, defining the problem, and just delivering the solution. And I
yeah,
think notaries, especially, we have so many different skills. We're constantly looking for the next opportunity. And so along the journey, we learn so much, not even just the actual skill of loan signings and general notary work or apostilles or weddings. We learn grit and
yeah,
resilience and consistency, how to market our business, how to think outside the box. Like we can actually, from our life journey, we can, share that information and make someone else their path a lot easier.
yeah. That's true. That's true. So
And
it's
then
all,
and then the added bonus is that
yeah.
it's passive income. Like
I
most of our
know.
services are people facing, and it's only there's so much we can do in a day. And to
Yeah,
wake up and know that you made a sale and you didn't have to actually trade your time,
that's
man, that's
amazing.
everything.
That is amazing. Yeah, we definitely need to talk because I feel like I'm in that. I'm taking that next step towards it. I've had conversation with people that close to like with Griffin, Q, Tech, Tiger, and of course my families. But I feel like maybe I need to get something out there. Because I enjoy what I'm doing and I love helping people. And I feel like if I can put a product out there, that can help, that would make a huge difference. At least, just to get it checked off my list.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very rewarding and fulfilling for yourself to be able to know that you can add value and offer that to someone. But just to know that you are changing people's lives naturally by just having a product available, If you don't have a product available, then it just lives in your head. I don't think that's fair.
As far as Tiffany, yes, you can share the video on Facebook. I really appreciate it. It's my first time connecting this to Facebook as well. So if you guys want to share it on Facebook, I have no issues with that. So pretty much just get it out there. So how can someone reach out to you if they wanted to, book a call?
Yep. So you can go to my Freedom Notary page on Instagram. It's at Freedom Notary, and click the link in my bio. You can see my book, The Notary Pivot: A Notary's Guide to Transferring Your Knowledge to Digital Products. And you can also book a call with me. If you're not sure if you want to work with me yet, you're not sure, you don't understand much about digital products, I do have my ebook right now. If you use the discount code PIVOT, then you can get the book for $17, and that will give you a lot of foundational information about how it all works, how to transfer your knowledge, how to choose a target audience, how to define a problem, how to identify the value you can add,
Yeah.
and then you can book a discovery call with me for free, and we can talk through it, and I can explain more in detail of how I can make your ideas that's floating around your head become a product for sale.
Yes, absolutely amazing. Paralegal notaries. Yep, I am a little bit underneath the weather on, the family on IG is checking, and yes, I am doing a lot better now. I was worse past couple of days. I think it's just a change. One day it was extremely warm out, and then it got cold. That's why I need to go back down south. This cold weather is not for me. Like I've decided I cannot be up here for the rest of my life. I need to get back south.
No,
so
I understand.
yeah, T Brian Notary Service say yes, dropping ebook and tapping with Corinne. Definitely.
Yeah, shout out to
Amazing.
Tierra. That is T. Bryan Notary Services. She and I both are partnering, and we're doing a podcast coming up.
Really?
It's called Womenomics, and it's helping people
Ooh,
reframe their minds. So it's
nice.
targeted to small businesses and entrepreneurs. And we're going to have a variety of topics on our podcast talking about all the things we typically don't talk about, like imposter syndrome and fear and leveraging losses. And so, yes, if you guys don't follow
Nice.
Tiara, she is T. Bryan Notary Services on Instagram.
Shout out to
She
TL.
is the bomb.
Nice. Yeah, so we are also in the process. Me and the guys are in the process of bringing you guys a podcast as well. So
All right.
that's something's in the work. It's I just thought I threw it out there. Q mentioned it the last time we was on the live. So just be on the lookout for it. But we have to make sure we do our researches because we want to be providing you guys with credible information. So we it's not about just starting it just to say we have one. No, we have to be able to do our own research and provide it to you guys. And that's what's gonna make it special. Let me see.
That's awesome. What's the name of the podcast?
We still
Still working
thinking
on it,
about it.
still
Still
cooking?
work. Yeah, it's still cooking. It's gonna be different. It's still cooking. We have some ideas, but once we get finalized, Q is gonna put everything out there. We all know Q is amazing at what he's doing right now. So we definitely going to have something nice for you guys, and I
So
will be
Tierra just
working
said we can be guests on each other's podcast.
on it. Hey, you know what?
Yes, that's locked in, Tierra.
That's it. That's it. And that's what it's all about. It's all about networking.
Right.
That's one of the biggest thing. Within this industry, I like how we have the opportunity to network with people, in different state, and we all doing the same thing. It's just different rules apply to your state and how you market yourself and how you run your business. But at the end of the day, we all providing a service to people, and we must represent ourselves and represent our business and family in a professional manner. That's what I always tell people. And so I know we are approaching the hour mark. Just want to ask you any advice for new notaries. If somebody come up to you right now and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in becoming a notary," what would you tell them?
Oh, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we good.
Okay, good, because I think my headset is going out. I'm going to say that the typical thing people always say is don't give up, but it goes a lot deeper than just those three words. I
Mm,
think I was telling Tierra and a lot of people recently that like I quit my business like every other day. I have tough days, and I'm like, I'm done with Freedom Notary Service, but I live to see another day.
Yep.
And I just, I throw in the towel sometimes because I get discouraged, but I'm not quitting. I'm just having a low moment.
Yep.
And just being patient with the ups and downs is part of the experience. And so I'm learning that the down periods where I feel discouraged or I don't think I'm built for this, that's leverage too. I can use that as leverage. And I think, at the start of this year, with the market shifting and, services weren't, I wasn't as busy in my business, gave me time to reflect on what other skills I have to offer. So it's all about examining where you are, regardless of how you feel, and how can you be better? How can you be
Mhm.
better? So I just say, don't give up.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good one. Somebody said become a broker at Freedom Notary. Shout out to Tiffany with the virtual hugs. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tiffany.
She's active in the comment. And, shout out to everybody who's taking the time out to watch this. You guys are greatly appreciated. Appreciate you guys, constantly supporting the page on IG. As many of you guys know, I'm trying to get as many followers from IG on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, subscribe. We are trying to get to 500 and make it to 1,000. So I'm trying to
You're
transfer
on your
that.
way. It's going to happen.
The goal is to transfer that 1,800 follow on IG to 1,800 on YouTube. So if you haven't
That's right.
subscribed yet, go ahead and do me that favor and let's make it happen. So, my advice to any new notaries that are looking to get into this business is do not try to come in here just for the money aspect because once you hit those dry months where you're not getting any calls, where you're not making your quota, you are going to quit. You are
That's
going
right.
to regret it. So do not come in here based off some infomercial saying you can make $10,000 a month. You can, but just understand that you have to be willing to put in the work for it. And also understand your state laws. That is extremely important. And another thing is focus on yourself, focus on your business model, focus on what works for you. Stop trying to be like everybody else. What Miss Corinne is doing in Maryland, I may not be able to do it in Mass or vice versa. Find what works for you. Find what works that goes well in hand with your personality. So you're not stepping out to be something that you are not. And just be willing to step out your comfort zone sometime because that's where you're gonna find your growth.
That's
Just
right.
don't give up. Be willing to make that step. The first appointment may not go well. Trust me, my first appointment went horrible. Many of you guys heard it before. But just know that you have to keep going. You have to keep going. And as I always say, it's not about perfection. It's about taking consistent action. That's what it's all about.
That's
That
right.
is all it's all about. Looks like somebody say use tags on your videos, add various content to grow. All right, all right. I appreciate that. I will have to learn about that. So if you want to send me a quick DM on exactly what you mean, I really appreciate that. But with that being said, anybody have any more questions? Because we are about to wrap it up. It's been amazing, Miss Corinne.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you, thank you for accepting to be on. You are doing great things. I appreciate you. I appreciate the service you're doing, and definitely I can see. I definitely want to schedule that call with you. Maybe when I start to,
Yeah, absolutely.
so I can see what we can do. What are some possibilities out there? But
Yeah,
because
we're gonna talk. I'm gonna break it down for you so you can realize it's not impossible. And then the
it's
floodgates are gonna open, and you're gonna be adding so much value that people have been waiting for. The wait is over.
well, here's the crazy thing, right? I'm gonna just say this before we leave. I completed a book. It's a children book. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
it's an affirmation book for children,
That's
like daily
awesome.
affirmation. So I have that. My next step, I'm trying to get it out. But from speaking to different folks, and I was like, well, I have an idea to add pictures in this, and just the prices I was getting is like 5,000, 10,000. I'm like, come on now. Like
So it's
I
a
need to
physical
find it.
book. It's not a digital product.
Well, now I'm considering making a digital product.
You should, and then you should have a voiceover, so you can have an audible. I mean, a audio version, and this just a regular digital product where you can see it. You can
Yep.
make it a printable with coloring pages. Call me.
You know what? We are we are all right, guys. Well, appreciate you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. If you're going out tonight, please be safe. Make sure you guys are always aware of your surrounding, even when you're at these appointments. And thank you. You all are appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. And Miss Corinne, you've been amazing. I'm happy
Thank
to have
you.
you here. Just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully we get to meet. At one of these conferences.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So I hope you guys have a great night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.